Welcome everyone. Today we have our another new episode, and we will discuss on climate-inspired innovations. It's been climate technology. We have our world-famous speaker, Professor Tim Was. My first questions to Professor Tim was: what are the some emerging technologies aimed at reducing carbon emissions in transportation?
I'd like to say there are three things that we can have. Lithium electric batteries like Elon Musk at Tesla, helping get the gasoline guzzling cars that are on the highways belching out so much carbon right now through the exhaust pipes, especially with diesel on there. And some advances that we have are electric cars. We have hydrogen powered cars that I believe that's the industry that you're getting into. Would you be able to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Like in the climate tech technology is very much important for emerging economy because I'm promoting emerging economy like Bangladesh, India, China, Malaysia, and these are the countries. And definitely, developed nations like you, like USA, Canada, they have much more better technology in your hands. And G20 definitely they have a lot of solutions in their hands. So for the climate change issues, I believe that if you share your technology with the emerging economy people, that your legacy of contributing in the climate change will go up because most of the emerging economy people they are heavily affected for climate change. Example in Bangladesh, maybe in between 2030, we may lose our 30% of the land. So in that situations, we need more innovation technology. But technology, research has need lot of investment. So for that particular issues, I believe that your innovations and contributions can help us a lot. For World Talent Economy Forum, we have a specific contributions with Professor Viva, and we are helping to innovate the reduction tech, the carbon reduction technology in Canada, and definitely not only this Canada and USA and in Australia, we are promoting this technology. We are trying to helping our community through modern science, engineering, and technology. That's why this World Talent Economy Forums is a modern version of collaborations in between developed nations and developing nations. The more we go for open dialogue, open discussions, we can bring modern science, engineering, and technology, and we can bring more success for human progressions. That's why I invite you in this World Talent Economy Forum. So what you want to
Perfect.
discuss?
Thank you. And I wanted to make a statement about climate change because there was a Nobel Prize winning professor, his name escapes me, who said he didn't believe in it and they banned him from speaking. I mean, we need to have Socratic debate, whether you're right or wrong. It's words which work to win with true facts. And if you remember 10,000 years ago, we had Neanderthals, troglodytes, cavemen in the Ice Age. So we had a very cold climate back then 10,000 years ago with the glaciers everywhere, woolly mammoths and megafauna and flora. And we also had 65 million years ago, we had dinosaurs roaming the land and everything was tropical heat, much harder than now because carbon provides carbon dioxide for plants to turn that into oxygen. So you have more plant life. We have more trees now in the Midwest America now than we had hundreds of years ago, just because it's like Johnny Appleseed. People would spread orchards for cherry trees, apple trees, peach trees, and pears, and all sorts of plants to put in there to have biodiversity. And that's why when a few years ago in 2020, when we did an interview on how industrial hemp can save the world, where it's food, fuel, and fiber products, and biofuel from hemp, biodiesel can be a renewable resource that's green energy and a cash crop for farmers worldwide. And especially you talked about Bangladesh, where they're having climate change affecting the coastline for that. Well, think about the far future with Oxford University prestigious professor William McCaskill wrote the book on long-termism that fellow Aspie, autistic spectrum savant Elon Musk endorses, long-termism, where we try to think, well, in a few million years, North America and Europe are going to be back together like Pangea because of the tectonic plates. That's really long, far in the future, but you need to always have a backup plan to escape in case there's a natural disaster like Pompeii, like the volcano. If we had an eruption today, we would have like an atomic winter due to our climate. So our weather is different from climate, and I do believe in climate change, but I think it's cyclical. We've gone through a lot worse in history than we have today. Thank you.
Thank you. My next questions to you: how do carbon capture and storage technology work, and what are the potential benefit and limitations of mitigating climate change?
Storing carbon in deep down underground, they're trying to drill and press it in there to store in the bedrock like limestone or sandstone to absorb the CO2 gases to be prevented from going into the atmosphere. And that reminds me of something that science solved very well. They did a great job on restoring the ozone hole. The ozone layer in the South Pole was open up there, and you had radiation from the sun that was causing cancer because in Australia, and we've now repaired the ozone hole because we've taken out all the fluorocarbons that were in the refrigerators. But think on the other side of that, like SpaceX, NASA, Blue Origin, the rocket fuel, if they have not changed it since the 80s when the space shuttle was up in the sky, like Enterprise, Columbia, Challenger, and all those space shuttles, they use fluorocarbons for their rocket fuel. So they're spending a lot more of that into the atmosphere to destroy the ozone layer than your refrigerated air conditioner in your car vehicle. So we need to make sure that governments and corporations are responsible while we as individuals do our part to clean up and give a hoot, don't pollute is the old slogan we would say.
Mhm. Excellent. My next questions to you: can you explain how renewable energy technologies such as wind and solar power contribute to decarbonizing the energy sector?
Wind turbine power is excellent. In my hometown of Kansas, near my father's cattle ranch on the borderline there between Labette and Neosho counties, we have an 80-acre ranch with pecan trees running through there. And they're doing a whole lot of stuff there in Kansas with windmill turbines. You can see them as far as the eye can see out there with the lights blinking and the blades going around. And they say that those are not as good for wildlife because birds fly into them even though they're slow moving. So maybe they're not as good as possible, and it's not windy all the time, so it's not as reliable as solar can be. And I'd like to do for the United States Space Force, one of my missions is called Project Prometheus, like the Titan from Greek mythology, who stole fire from the gods on Mount Olympus, Zeus, Hera, Athena, Ares, and the rest of them, the pantheon of Mount Olympus. Well, the Titan Prometheus took fire and gave it to mankind so we could have protection while around our camps. We could cook our food and do other things with fire to control that. So Project Prometheus is solar-based space power, or SBSP is the acronym for that. SBSP, where we have either collector dishes in space where there's no cloudy weather, it's all free sunshine, infinite, endless energy to be sent down as electricity through microwave radiation metaband from the satellite that's collecting the solar power to microwave beaming it down to satellite dishes anywhere in the world to promote a post-scarcity society where everybody has electricity for free and we're not fighting wars over resources like blood money for oil in the Middle East that we've seen. So another satellite issue besides collecting it and sending it through microwaves, we can have an array of mirrors in space and direct sunlight directly into solar collector farms like Saudi Arabia has built in the desert to provide infinite energy and make sure that it goes for 15 hours a day of sunlight, like at high noon, instead of just 6 or 7 hours, and based on cloudy weather, that type of stuff. So those are the two main things for Project Prometheus that we're working on at the USSF. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have our friends, Dr. Tamanna. Thank you for joining
Hello,
today's
Tamanna.
session. Yes.
Hello.
Tamanna, what you want to discuss about climate technology and how it will be helpful for emerging economy?
Yeah, so technologies that we use to address climate change are known as climate technologies. Climate technologies that help us reduce GHGs, including renewable energy such as wind energy, solar energy, and hydropower energy, as also Ambassador was talking about. To adapt the adverse effect of climate change, we use climate technologies such as drought resistant crops, early warning systems, and sea walls. There are also soft climate technologies such as energy efficient practices or training for using equipment. So there are several kind of technologies which we use, and I guess more of it, countries like India, which are like diverse, and from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we have diverse climates. So, right kind of technologies have to be used, because at some place, it's extreme cold, at some place it's extreme hot. So the climate technologies have to be used in such a manner that from technologies can be used in the best possible way, so that it is developed in form of use of right kind of technologies used in, for example, deserts like Thars, where water is least available. So I mean, from one state to another, that cooperation of federalism. India is a federal democracy. So we the state kind of the state, as in, like, I'm not talking about the denominations. I'm talking about the country. So the center has to decide which state will provide water to the Thar Desert. So these kind of things are there. So developing and transferring technologies to support national action on climate change has been essential element for the beginning. In 1992, when countries established the convention, they included specific provisions on technologies with the aim of achieving the ultimate objective of convention. UN FCCC. The convention notes that all parties shall promote and cooperate in the development and transfer of technologies that reduce emissions of GHGs. It also urged developed countries, parties to take all practical steps to promote, facilitate, and finance the transfer of or access to climate technologies to other parties. So, these technologies have to be very careful about what kind of um, uh, wrong kind of technologies have to be cancelled, and right kind of technologies have to be used in the proper way. Thank you.
That's good.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. My next questions to Professor Team. What role do smart grid and energy storage technology play in integrating renewable energy source into existing power system? Or especially if you want to share some of your view uh, about this green technology, especially for energy sectors, that will
Well,
be.
I'm a Boy Scout, and our motto is always be prepared. And we have as our cosmopolitan, compassionate conservationism, we believe that if you take care of Mother Nature, then Mother Nature will take care of you. That's why when I'm walking places, I look down to make sure I don't step on dandelion flowers where the honeybees are trying to feed, or even ant hills. That's more of a Buddhist Zen moment of Zen philosophy. But as far as green energy goes, I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne. Let my armies be the rocks, the trees, and the birds in the sky, where you take care of them with the National Arbor Association for arboretums to have trees in your community. Our local YMCA, that's a 5-minute walk from my apartment complex, I asked them to set up wildflowers for Osage Prairie Trail as a wildlife preserve for kids to walk through to see the butterflies, the honeybees, and the hummingbirds. And it was such a success that we've expanded it to 3 acres next to the YMCA for people to walk and have peace in Mother Nature, because I think it is ridiculous that we have so many grassy knolls and places where people just every 2 weeks they pay them $40 to run a lawnmower back and forth, wasting gasoline, spreading carbon dioxide, and just cutting the grass when they can landscape with trees and wildflowers that would be good for Mother Nature. So I think any green energy is good energy. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tamanna. Dr. Tamanna.
She froze, looks like.
Yes. So my next question, how are advancement in agricultural technology helping reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to climate change impact in the agricultural sectors? Professor Timos.
Yes, well, I just remembered right now that the independent United Kingdom UK newspaper came out with a story that was collaborated by NBC, ABC, and CBS News that China, a corporation there, has developed a battery that is the size of a small coin or stamp that has can power a smartphone, a drone, or any other electronic device for 50 full years as it converts from isotope nickel 59 to harmless copper. So there's no leak, and they want to use it in pacemakers for hospital medical patients. And if you can upscale that, that could be used in satellites, electric cars, anything. But it's amazing if true. It's 3D printed layers of nano material like microscopic diamonds and different layers of alloys. Nickel 59 is the crucial key to that, to see if they can collaborate that, and it's coming out 2025 on the market. So that's the biggest breakthrough that I can see right now as far for green energy is long-lasting batteries that don't need to be charged.
Excellent.
Thank you.
As you are a professor, what do you think how the youth communities can involve with this climate change and how they can innovate different technology and solve the global problem?
Well, when you talk about technology, they just look at you at a dull, blank stare and just don't even understand the science behind it. But if you be like a science communicator like Carl Sagan, Ronald Reagan, or Bill Nye, the science guy, who's the CEO of the Planetary Society, great place to lobby Congress for money for NASA and other green energy projects, and even asteroid deflection to keep us from being hit by potential adversaries in our atmosphere. So one thing that I'd like to do with students is show them nature documentaries. They love saving polar bears. They love seeing lion cubs out in the savanna of Africa, penguins of the South Pole and Antarctica. They like to know that green energy means that you clean up for them, and we need to remember the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Thank you.
Excellent. Our friend already joined. Dr. Tamanna, we are discussing about climate change technology. You are also from academia. So what is the contributions of climate change? How do you think about climate change technology?
For the students too.
Yeah. Dr. Tamanna, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Can you repeat your question?
My question is that how student can contribute to innovate climate change technology.
Yeah, as a professor, I have seen, we had several conferences and workshops, etc., where students, young students have promoted technologies which would help in technological welfare. For example, the wind technology, or for example, hydropower. Many of these, the water technology, many of these technologies have been demonstrated by students in our colleges, so that the best possible solution to current problem in India of pollution. I mean, in winters it's just horrible in India. It's like in Delhi, for example, or Mumbai, massive smog takes place here, and there is a lot of problem of aircrafts taking to move around. And so I guess that's a major problem which India is facing right now. and so is world. And young people have to come together, and in the best possible manner they should come and address this problem, because they have the zeal, to do something good, rather than sitting on their own, like old people, who are not interested in these things. They're just doing things for money and everything. These things are not done for money. Everything in world is not money. There are certain things which are without money, and saving the earth is the major mission of all people. Because people, children, young people who are in their 20s have to live. The aim of the world is right now that we should cross 100 years of age for our people. So I guess people who are in their 20s would do have a lot of stake in this particular mission, so that right kind of technologies have to be used, so that world is able to save itself from pollution and smog and etc., and ozone layer depletion. Diseases such as cancer, etc., they were not there earlier, but now many of these lifestyle diseases, like high blood pressure and many of these things in South Asia, this is major problem, of high blood pressure, sugar, insulin problem. So I guess that's what young people are getting involved in this thing, and they're like majorly excited about bringing about. So world, I guess we need to have conferences with professors and young people, and come up with innovations for new technologies, taking it from AI, help from AI, and robots, and best possible technologies need to be developed.
Thank you. Can you share few of your experience about startup, different startup in India, especially uh, for climate change technology or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Many of these eco-feminists, they have started a lot of NGOs, for example, and they have started startups where, like I can't recall the name of the startups, but new technologies in Bangalore and Chennai, for example, have been developed in a major way, and so what is happening is that these startups are developing new technologies, whereby uh, the the fact of water technologies being developed, to for example, lately, I mean, I remember, when we had a lot of pollution in winters right now, so water technology was being used in Delhi to shed off pollution. So similarly, a lot of Niti Aayog, or the Planning Commission, of India, has been working with young people and scientists to develop new technologies, so that pollution can be devolved, and new technologies should take place of in place of pollution. New technologies need to be brought about. Yeah.
Thank you. Professor Timos, what is your closing remarks for today's session?
Well, before I go to my supervisor meeting, and I apologize for leaving early today, but Dr. Tamana, one thing that really shocked me about India is the Ganges River is so over polluted with plastic, waste of all kinds, and there are temples that are taken care of, but that's the temple of Mother Nature, water. If you don't have clean water, you don't have anything, because that's the source of all life. And I believe that every day is Earth Day, because I think in the cities, urban areas, like where bus stops are, the roofs of those buildings, we have in Kansas City, in Missouri, the Ozarks, we have wildflowers on top there, so honeybees can travel throughout the city without having to go after candy wrappers for sugar, or soda pop to drink like Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper. So one thing I'd like to close with is that, remember, if you take care of Mother Nature, she'll take care of you. So God bless all of you. Namaste and good day. Live long and prosper.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Dr. Tamana, what's your closing remarks for today's sessions? And if you want to share some of your closing views for this climate change solutions and climate inspired innovation, you can share with our audience.
Yeah. So as Mother Nature, as Ambassador was also talking about Mother Nature, we have to really protect it. It's like it's our mother. I mean, worldwide we recognize that. We give it the place of the mother, and is that the way we treat our mother? I mean, that's what Ambassador was also talking about, the plastics. I mean, the Ganges, for example. People people who die, they throw their ashes there. So these things are polluting the rivers, and so I guess there has to be a system whereby these technologies have to be developed whereby no polluting elements of, be it plastics or Jamuna, for example, if you see, and all of them, in Indian tradition, we call them as goddesses. They are all goddesses. Ganges, Jamuna. Yamuna was one of the um, rivers where Krishna traveled when he was a baby. He was taken by his father to a safe zone. So I mean, so Yamuna is again, a river, but if you look at the shores, they are amazingly polluted, and there are like so much of plastic there, and and Sabarmati, for example, if you see, all of them, they are polluted like anything. So I guess Mm, uh, and global warming is another issue. Hardly any winters are seen in India, for example, and earlier when we were younger, we used to see so much of sun and winter during winters. Like right now, hardly anything of that sort is there. So I guess India needs to work along with the other world scientists. The scientists world over need to come together, and we don't have much time. That's what we need to realize. We don't have much time to save earth. Probably 50 years, and we'll be like, we'll be searching. Why are we searching for spaces in the space up there? Because we know that earth is not going to survive long if we behave the way we have done, to what we have done to mother earth. And I'm not saying people should go cynical and become totally cynics, but fact is fact. It has major problems, and till the time we do not understand that Earth has its limitations, and we'll face more problems. We'll face more tsunamis. We'll face more earthquakes, and we have places where earthquakes are major. We have centers of earthquakes, for example, Himalayas. There you have the epicenter of earthquakes. So till the time, if we do not revere earth, we need to revere earth. And if we do that, we have our younger people, abroad, who are having um, uh, associations, Greta Thunberg, and all these people. Good work is being done by them, but we need more younger people, not just as leaders, but as members of NGOs or startups. New startups have to be developed through technologies whereby new people, younger people are involved. People who are fresh in their thoughts, and who are driven not by money, but by the fact that these things are essential for our living. And also, I'll say that we need to explore places in space, and find new uh, spaces where people can if suppose there is a doomsday, you have an astronaut strike with the earth. we are able to have a living somewhere. So it should not be that poor are left behind and rich leave leave the earth and stay up there. So we have to take the whole world together. So poor people should not be left behind, and we have to take the brains of the best. So poor education is a must. That is another issue which climate technology has to understand, that we have to have right kind of technologies which have to be developed. Education has to be given to people of poor strata, so that their brains are also used. Because people who come from different stratas have a different perspective on pollution. I mean, people who are from the poor sections, or who stay in slums, etc., they have seen the worst. So they can have the right kind of technology. And the in India, for example, we are developing school systems in a very big way. So in Delhi, the school system is done in a very pleasant way. Now we are having the right technologies, whereby poor people, students who are going to the government schools, are receiving scientific knowledge also. So the startups can be started by these young people, and they can help develop new technologies, not just for India, but also for the world.
Thank you. Thank you for joining today's sessions. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.
All right.